Yo, here we go. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Cito in here. Let's talk about this because you keep asking me about it. Yes, Tupac Makaveli album was entirely created by the help of Snoop Dogg turning down every last one of these beats. Hail Mary was Snoop Dogg's beat. All the beats, damn near every last one of them, Snoop had on a disc. He had a couple of discs, and Ty, he gave it to him, Tyrone. They gave him the track, and who was the other guy? The other guy that did the Ambitions of a Rider, and what's his name? That's the Daryl dude. He did the other tracks. And once he was working with him, the guy they called what was he? They called him Kurt Cobain, but his name was Daryl. So they put him on there, and Daryl gave him songs too. And Snoop, Pac, the rest of them, they were not trying to be associated with Ty and Kurt Cobain. Like, Suge put a target on this dude back when he got there. And he was like, this the dude with all the beats, because he was hungry. You know what I'm saying? And he would work. But nobody liked his beats. Like, it's a lot of dudes that be like, I don't want to work with that dude. A lot of it was jealousy because he didn't have he didn't have a crew or a clique that, he was really cool with at the time. And at that time, Snoop was looking for a new sound. He was working on the Dog Father. At the same time, Tupac is doing Makaveli out. Now, he made Makaveli in a week. It was a little over a week, but damn near a week. He was making songs completely, but for the Makaveli album to lead off, he had a sound that's what he wanted to hear. Now, Daz and the rest of them, they call it the whack room. The studio that they were in, that was considered the whack room. So all the beats Ty and all them had, they were considered whack by everybody else. So they just like, man, that's the whack room, man. Where they got all these whack beats. So when Pac went in there and took, what's his name's like, hey, what's that beat you playing? I want that right there. And I need that in this. Yeah, come to the big studio. Drop that track right now. I want that. And they was working together immediately. And he was fast with writing it down and then spitting it right as he write it. Pac had that energy. And he was like, cool, because I'm ready to go. So Daryl had those beats, but he gave all of that to Snoop on a tape. So he was signed to Death Row. And he was so excited. And he was really livid. I mean, like really energized about making these tracks. Now with Snoop, that's a whole different situation altogether. Because see, Snoop Dogg had a whole different vibe. Like the Dog Father wanted to be some old. He was thinking like more the Gap Band, like get to the club, dance type of thing. That's what he was thinking about, like some mob stuff on that level, like some smooth gangster type of energy songs. He was like, I need to do that. But Daz is like, nah, we producing this for you. So if we do it, we want to do it this way. Now, when Pac first got there, it was so much like, yo, I'm trying to get in. Dre, let me get that beat. I need that California love. Your album ain't going to be ready for a minute. So, man, let me get that track. Let me get on that. So that's already ready to go. You know what I'm saying? And I need something solid. So he went and took care of it. And after those moments that took place, you had a whole different environment that was starting to develop as the success of, All Eyes on Me. Pac ego went through the roof. He changed a lot. It was very flamboyant, really, temperamental, and was more, you know, angry a lot. So to see him, he was more MOB. So Snoop and all the Crips he used to be cool with back in the day, hanging with Daz and them doing all them songs, he faded away from being around them altogether. Like there was no more Daz, there was no more of any of that. It was like, yeah, skip that. We done. So that's out the window. And now he's building on his thing and want to do it his way with his people, his team, who he liked to work with and who he don't. And he took Ty and said, hey, Ty, you that guy now. So Ty became the man. He was like, you going to be Makaveli Records. You finna do these beats. Now, Snoop and Daz end up falling out. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Daz end up falling out with Snoop over something. And they was like, yo, man, y'all need to chill. Y'all need to patch that on up. Didn't matter. They fell out. So because they fell out, it was F that dude or F him. And that was just how Daz was moving. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't personal. Daz was just on some F you. That's what it is. I'm Daz. I'm that named Daz, right? So as they go down the roads, you start seeing a situation start to brew, meaning that everybody who was there, their attitudes got a little different. People started to change the way they felt about situations, and everybody was in their own clue, like their own crew. So Daz really didn't do that much production on the Dog Father. He only did like 3 songs. So Snoop started hanging out with DJ Pooh. And DJ Pooh and Superfly and all of them. And he had the Doggies Angels and, so he was hanging around Superfly then. So DJ Pooh and them, they really did that whole album. Daz had fell out with Snoop. A lot of people don't know that. So they was just not talking for a minute. And it was really after really Pac died, really that they was back cool because he wasn't talking. Daz wasn't dealing with Pac like that no more. Corrupt didn't deal with him. So the Dog Pound wasn't dealing with him. Snoop and Daz wasn't really eye to eye for whatever the reason is at that time. They just wasn't on the same wavelength. Everything started to turn and change. So what's his name from the Whack Room? They saw Snoop. Ty was like, yo, Snoop, I got you. Hit him with that. And this way before Makaveli was getting started. And then there'll be Snoop. Did you hear that track? He was, man, I'm sorry. I ain't get a chance to yet, man, but I'm going to get to it. And he never got to it. He never listened. He didn't even listen to it. And that's what I think dude was talking about with the Makaveli producing. Yeah, Daryl Harper. That's what I call him, Daryl. But he was Kurt Cobain, but he was signed to Death Row, so Pac couldn't take Daryl with him over to yeah, he was signing him. He was signed as an artist. It wasn't signed as a producer. He was being paid like a producer, but he was signed as an artist. So he could sign a producer deal with Makaveli Records. So he could go. Hurt him bad. Tyrone, man, he the one gave Snoop Hold Your Head, Hail Mary. He gave Snoop all them beats. Snoop said, he had the whole Makaveli album and was sitting on it all that time. Mm-hmm. The whole world had the Makaveli album when it was done. It was done so quick to be done that well. It was like really wasn't touched up and finished the way it should have been. And when they messed up the release of Makaveli, no, it was Kurt Cobain. Uh, yeah, Kurt came through, man, and did his thing. Kurt Cobain did his thing, dog. He really did. Daryl was a producer, and Kurt Cobain did his thing on his tracks. But the thing is this: when they was making these beats and they were sending these tracks over to people, it's a whole different world, B. It's a whole different world. Because the same tracks that they sent over, Snoop had all of them on a CD and never played them. He never even listened to them. He was just like, I'll get around to it. I'll get around to it. Hold on. Now, if you Snoop and the rest of them, right, I could see you not liking the beats if this was, because it's not like you didn't even get a chance to listen to them. You see what I'm saying? He didn't even listen to the beats. Had he listened to the track, he probably would have had a whole different type of vibe. But he never listened to the tracks. But if he did, it might not have fit what he was looking for on Doggy Style. You know what I'm saying? So, and the fact that they weren't really feeling each other at the time, and he didn't know those beats was gonna go to Pac because they was in what they call the whack room. They was just like, dog, all they beats was whack because they didn't have a sound that was pretty much defined as West Coast or even East Coast. They just had beats. And if they were dope, like it doesn't have a West Coast sound or whatever. And that's why you listen to Makaveli, it don't really have a vibe that's West Coast. It's more of an East Coast Midwest, just a universal sound. So there's a lot of people who saw a gravitational change once Pac, All Eyes on Me sell 5 million records and all of this. Then months later, he comes out with Hit 'Em Up. Like 5 months later, Hit 'Em Up drops. See, people forget that, the album was out for like 5 months. It was all love. And then here comes Hit 'Em Up. Then now Snoop and them got a vibe with this. This is back in like June, July. So now Hit 'Em Up is out. Now the whole energy is different. Everybody's turned. He's MOB now. He's not really hanging with Snoop and them like that. They got into it with his crew and them, and we MOB, and ain't nobody jumping nobody, and nobody finna fight. We the artists, but Pac was moving different. So he used to be with Daz and them all the time, making records and doing all this stuff. So all the stuff Daz was talking about was different than what they were implying and trying to, implement on everybody else. Everybody I know wasn't even feeling that. They was on a whole nother wavelength. So I got it, but then I didn't get it. Because if he'd have just listened to those beats, I'm quite sure Snoop could have took 3 or 4 out of those beats. He had the whole Makaveli album and then some. He had Blasphemy. He didn't have To Live and Die in LA. He had Crazy. He had White Man's World, Hold Your Head. Me and My Girlfriend and Just Like Daddy, I don't know if those was on there. But yeah. Crazy. All those songs, they gave them to Snoop. And Snoop just didn't even listen to them. So, but I think it's because when you have an idea of what you want to do as an artist and as a rapper, you want to go down a certain road, that's the route you're going to take. So Snoop, to go down there, he probably had a style that he wanted this album to sound like, more like the Gap Band or whatever. So Daz and, DJ Pooh and the rest of them, that pimp smoothness, whatever they was going for that album, the Dog Father. Like he wanted that album to be that one vibe. Pac was able to take those beats and make it the vibe that he was feeling at that moment. The Makaveli album. He wanted to get it all out on the table. Now that he in position, he gonna use this album to be the bridge to launch the Outlaws album. And he already got another album set to go, so he gonna be straight on albums. Like, we good. I can go focus on these movies. And it was just sad that everything got cut short when it didn't need to be. So, on that note, I want to say love, peace, and hair grease. Don't forget to follow my page, Carcino for Life, on Patreon. Because on the Patreon, we're going to go a lot deeper. So, hope you're ready.
Hi, I'm Carcino.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world. And I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest